person. Talk to yourself like the idiot you know you've been. Be honest. You know, our entire society has adopted this politically correct ideology. It really has. Recently, I started with a couple of my buddies doing a blog called The Five Friends. Now, it just so happens that my friends for 25 years have been five guys. I mean, there's just five guys. We've been buddies. When I first put it out, the immediate response was, well, now, Larry, there's not a black guy in the bunch. And there's no woman in the bunch. I didn't even think like that. Why is it that we've reached a place in our society and in business today and on social media today and on television today and in our educational system today that the first place you go is that we must be politically correct and balanced in every single way to the point that five buddies can't get together and just talk without someone saying, there's no woman there, there's no African American there, there's no Chinese American there. That we constantly have to be worried about that sort of thing. Five guys can't get together and just have a conversation about what's going on in the world and in business. But no, that whole thought process of being so politically incorrect, so careful that everyone is included in every conversation, that it is destroying the way we think. There was a time 25 years ago, we didn't even think like that. That would have never been the question that would have come to anyone's mind. Where's the woman? Where's the African American? It wouldn't have happened. And look what that's done to business today. We are no longer so concerned about who's the right person for the job, but who's the right person from an appearance sake for the job. We're running business by focus group. We've gotten to the point right now, even in our own personal lives, that we are running our lives by focus group via social media. Everybody has to post. What do you think of this? What should I do in this situation? Should I break up with him or not? Should I eat this for lunch? This is what I had for lunch. Does it look good to you? Who the hell cares? Why don't you live your own life? Why don't you grow a pair in your life to the point that you are confident enough with who you are and the decisions you make that you don't need the constant yammerings, the input of all the idiots out there in the world to approve of what you do? That's not who we've become. We have to be so careful, so politically correct. We're running everything by appearance, everything by other people's opinion. I learned a long time ago, I can't pay my bills with somebody else's opinions. I have to have my own opinions. One of the challenges right now is that people are so focused on being politically correct that they are afraid to express themselves. They are afraid to use the words such as I'm using right here, mainly because we've become such a litigious society. We will sue anybody for anything. I'm amazed at the things that we will sue people for, and that we have these attorneys out there who will happily take your case to court and take your money for it. So I understand the hesitancy for somebody in a job in the corporate world to say, I'm just going to throw off all political correctness and go out and do what I want to do and say what I want to say. Well, you have to use your head. I mean, you have to understand that you still do work for people, that you can't go against the corporate culture, but that doesn't mean that you really have to squelch your personality, your belief system, what you stand for, and your core values. That's what I'm afraid has happened right now in our culture, is that we've compromised our core values in order to be politically correct. We've compromised core values in order to get along in the world. We'll go along with anything just in order to get along. You know, core values are a big deal to me, and I think that is at the very heart of authenticity. If I walked up to the average guy on the street and said, tell me 5 things you believe in, that you will never compromise, no matter what, I think that people would look at you like a dog looking at a ceiling fan. They would just shake their heads and just look at you with so much uncertainty, because we've reached this sad place in society where we don't really know what we believe. We have to ask someone else. We have to turn on television and hear what our favorite talking head on our news program believes before we're sure about what we believe. Or again, we have to run it past our buddies on social media, or we have to call and ask somebody, or we have to ask our husband or our wife, or we have to ask someone else in order to establish what our core values are. That's a shame. That's sad. That's going to absolutely lead to the destruction of our society if we don't figure out what our core values are. Core values to the point we will never compromise them for any reason. If somebody walks up to